Most people feel happy when they see others succeed. But there is also a darker side of human emotion that is rarely discussed openly in everyday life. Some individuals experience a strange and uncomfortable sense of satisfaction when they see others fail, struggle, or fall behind in life. This reaction is not always visible on the surface, but it exists quietly within human behavior and thought patterns. Psychologists have studied this emotional response for a long time and given it a specific name. In this video, we will slowly break down the hidden psychology behind why certain people experience pleasure from the downfall of others, what internal factors create this mindset, and why it appears more often than most people realize. We all have seen situations where someone quietly smiles or feels slightly satisfied when another person fails or faces difficulty. On the surface, this behavior can appear unusual, confusing, or even uncomfortable to understand. However, when studied more deeply, it becomes clear that this reaction is more common in human psychology than people usually admit. Many individuals hide these emotions behind normal social behavior, which makes them difficult to notice in everyday life. In this video, we will explore the deeper psychological reasons behind this mindset and understand why some people secretly enjoy watching others fail. Instead of feeling genuine happiness for their success or progress in life or careers. One of the most important concepts in this topic is Schadenfreude, which refers to taking pleasure in someone else's misfortune or failure. Many people experience this emotion at some point in life, often without fully realizing it or questioning it deeply. When a person compares themselves to others and then sees someone else struggling, it can create a temporary feeling of emotional relief or internal comfort. This reaction does not always come from cruelty, but often from insecurity, self-doubt, and constant comparison with others. In such moments, another person's setback can feel like a small psychological advantage, even if nothing in their own life has actually changed. Most individuals who secretly feel satisfaction from others' failure are dealing with internal insecurity that is not always visible from the outside. When they see someone else struggling or falling behind, it can create a false sense of personal progress in their own mind. It feels as if they are no longer behind in comparison, even though their actual situation remains exactly the same. This creates a temporary emotional comfort that quickly fades, but still influences behavior. Because of this pattern, some people may quietly react with satisfaction when others face setbacks, even though they would never openly admit or express such feelings in a direct way. Envy is one of the strongest emotional drivers behind this type of behavior. When a person feels jealousy towards someone else's success, recognition, or achievements, that emotion does not always remain stable or harmless. Over time, it can slowly transform into silent resentment or internal frustration. In certain cases, this resentment becomes twisted into a sense of satisfaction when the other person experiences failure or difficulty. This creates a distorted emotional pattern where someone else's struggle feels personally comforting. Even though this reaction is rooted in comparison and insecurity, it can become a repeated mental habit if it is not consciously recognized and controlled. Another reason this mindset develops is the temporary feeling of superiority it creates. When someone sees another person fail, they may feel slightly elevated or more stable in their own position for a short moment. This feeling gives them a sense of control, even if it is not based on any real improvement in their life. Over time, this emotional response can become addictive, especially for people who rely heavily on comparison to measure their self-worth. Instead of focusing on personal growth, they begin to measure their progress through the outcomes and struggles of people around them, which creates an unstable emotional cycle. This pattern of thinking slowly damages both personal growth and relationships over time. People who stay trapped in this mindset often find it difficult to move forward because their attention is constantly directed outward instead of inward. They struggle to genuinely celebrate the success of others and instead experience ongoing comparison, frustration, and quiet resentment. This emotional cycle creates mental stagnation, where growth becomes limited and progress feels blocked. Over time, the inability to focus on one's own path leads to repeated dissatisfaction and prevents a person from building a stable and healthy mindset for long-term development. The most effective way to deal with this kind of negativity is to protect your mental space and redirect your focus toward your own growth. Not every person needs access to your plans, goals, or personal progress. Creating emotional distance from negative influences helps preserve clarity and stability in your thinking. At the same time, working quietly on your goals without constant comparison allows your growth to become more consistent and real. When you reduce the habit of comparing yourself with others, you gain stronger control over your emotions and build a more balanced and focused mindset over time. Understanding this type of psychology gives you the ability to protect your peace of mind in a more conscious and stable way. Once you recognize how comparison, insecurity, and hidden emotions influence behavior, you stop reacting automatically to the actions or failures of others. Instead, you begin to focus more on your own direction, your consistency, and your personal growth. This shift in awareness helps you build a stronger mental foundation that is less affected by external opinions or the outcomes of other people's lives, allowing you to stay steady and focused on what truly matters.